This is Liz.
This is Jade.
And this is Carly. And you're listening to
Babes and Babies.
Yay. You guys, this is our 50th episode.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot. We did it, you guys.
How?
We did it. Jade, you look like you're in shock over there.
One week
It's a marathon,
after
man.
the other, Jade. Yeah.
That's true.
It really is.
So we decided that we were going to bring some of our Facebook group members on. And today we have such an amazing birth story for you guys. You're not going to want to miss this. This girl, Taylor, has an incredible birth story. But first, we wanted to continue answering some of the Bachelor questions from last week. So we only got to do a few of them.
Yes. Okay. So if you guys don't watch The Bachelor, you can feel free to just fast forward because you don't have to listen to this. And if you want to know more about The Bachelor, hey, guess what? We're here for you. Okay. So one of the questions, which I think is a really good question, is what's the difference? What's the biggest differences we found between Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise?
Everything.
All of the things, you guys. Paradise is so much better.
So much better. Oh my God.
I mean, I always say it like this. Okay, on The Bachelor, let's hypothetically say you're one of the last two. You probably had 2 or 3 one-on-one dates. I guess you had probably 3. You definitely had Fantasy Suite, the last day. So maybe you had 4. But you don't see them the whole day. You see them for a couple hours here and a couple hours there. And you're only really alone with them with no cameras during the Fantasy Suite. Bachelor in Paradise, you're with them all day long. You could sleep next to them if you wanted the first night and you could continue doing that. You can easily get tired of each other. Well, but it's so different. It's dating. It's you go on a normal date in real life, and when you start dating someone, you go on one date a week, maybe?
Probably.
And if you really like them, maybe 2. And that's I don't know, a couple hours. So think of that, and you keep doing that, and that lasts months, and you slowly get to know someone. Or you're in a Bachelor in Paradise, and there are 24 hours in a day. So let's take that and divide it by a bunch of weeks. You get to know someone really good, really good, really well, really fast.
Yeah. So The Bachelor for me was very stressful because it's very rigid. You only get to see The Bachelor when they let you.
Right.
Compared to where Bachelor in Paradise was hey, you want to sleep in till 9:30? Okay. You want to get you want to get mic'd at 11? Okay. You want to go hang out with your guy all day? Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is so
Totally.
relaxed. And I think that I did so much better in that environment. And Tanner and I, we always had where we would eat breakfast together in the morning, but then we would always go our separate ways and go hang out with our friends just so we weren't too clingy. It was our thing. We're okay, you go hang out with the guys. I'll go hang out with the girls, and then we'll meet up later. And we always met up in the afternoon and then spent the afternoon and all night together. So that was kind of our schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you really do. You really get to Tanner and I would stay up all night, or in the mornings we would just ask each other tons of questions and get to know each other really well, where you don't get that experience until the Fantasy Suites and on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Paradise too, you can eat whenever you want. I know this was a question because people say why do the people on Bachelor ever eat? And because, and they show these one-on-one dates and people have plates of food and it's never touched.
Right.
But you usually eat before that or after that. And then sometimes they'll be okay, we'll let you guys eat this food. But for the most part, they just don't want you eating on camera because they'd rather have you talking, and it's gross to have your mouth full. But on Paradise, remember Tanner would eat all the time, and there would be shots of Tanner just eating.
Oh my gosh, all the time.
It was so
Somebody
funny.
would be talking about drama, and Tanner's just over there putting pineapple in his mouth, just listening.
Munching. It's so funny. I love those shots of him.
Oh my gosh. So it sounds like I mean, I have no experience, but it just sounds like you get so much more quality time in Paradise. And then also, usually the person that you're talking to isn't dating 5 other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that probably changes your conversation because there's not the level of competition in Paradise.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Although I think
there is some.
Yeah, I think it's changed.
It is kind of stressful,
I think it's changed since we were on, because when we were on, it was very much like people coupled up quick. And not a lot of people switched. And now I feel like the last couple of years, people are really just switching. Like they are
switching a lot.
I'll just go on a date with this person, and there they go. Like the person you thought was your boyfriend or girlfriend are just frolicking on another date. I feel like it wasn't like that when we first started, when the show was new. And I feel like it's kind of different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we almost looked down at people. It was kind of like, oh, you're going to leave your person to go in another, you know what I mean? It was like very different then.
Right.
And now the show's more about like, well, I'm just here to get to know people and date people. It was very, I don't know. Maybe that's just
I don't want to get tied down to one person right now. And it's like, why are you on The Bachelor?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What's the next question, Carly?
Okay. Let's see. How does everyone afford to take so much time off work to be on the show? Because, I mean, you still have to pay your bills at home. I think, it differs for everyone. There's lots of people that have to quit their jobs.
Yeah.
And there's lots of, people who say, oh, well, they're just going to wait for me when I get home. But, I mean, it's a scary leap you have to take because lots of people do quit their jobs. And they don't pay you, so...
Right.
You just...
Oh, I remember trying to negotiate, because Bachelor you don't get paid, but Bachelor in Paradise you do.
Right.
And I remember trying to negotiate into my contract for Bachelor in Paradise, my, on top of what they were paying me, my rent for the month, because I was like, how am I going to pay my rent? And I didn't get it. They didn't negotiate it in. But I remember coming back and being like, okay, well, that was fun and it was amazing. And, I'm starting this new chapter of my life, but now I'm really broke.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was really hard. It's definitely hard.
And you get paid on Bachelor in Paradise every day you're there. So you don't get paid like, oh, you're going on, so you get this percentage, which is also kind of, if you're not there, quote unquote, for the right reasons, kind of bad, because I feel like sometimes people just want to get paid, so they just try to stay on to get paid.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Which is really messed up. I get really mad when I think about people and how different the show is now from what it was then, because social media is so big and, people are like, oh, if I just stay on, I could get famous. And it makes me really mad because I went on to find love, you guys.
The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
No, I mean, I still think there's people that are genuine, but I also think there's people that are like, this is an opportunity I'm going to take advantage of.
Oh, totally. I so agree with you. There are definitely people on there for the right reasons, but there's also people there for the wrong reasons. Also, what have you guys been watching this season?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
I like it so far. I like Elise, the redhead.
I love Elise.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like her. She's
representing the Cougar Den.
Yeah, she actually seems like she's got her shit together. Like, she's very level-headed. She's confident in herself. She still's like kind of fun. I don't know. I like her.
Yeah. I think it'll be an entertaining season. I mean, they always have, those girls like Demi that are on there that are the,
she serves a purpose.
She serves a purpose, and she is exciting to watch because you don't know what she's going to do.
I mean, she is adorable, but she is also just like, girl, like slow your roll, but
totally.
It's definitely, I mean, the producers are just like eating it up.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Evan's always like, Demi is one of those girls that will she's like a praying mantis. Like she will find you, you will fall in love, and then she will eat you alive. I'm like, yes, she is.
With a smile on her face.
So funny. Exactly. Yes.
I think there's a lot of super cute girls on this season. Like, there's a lot of girls where I'm like, oh, she's so cute and she's so sweet.
Totally.
But there's also a lot of young girls. I'm not just saying age-wise. I've just noticed a lot of immaturity in a few of them.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, this girl does not know who she is. She does not just they're not, I don't know. I don't know if they'll how well they're going to handle this whole thing. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
It will be interesting.
Because, I mean, age definitely doesn't define you. There's young girls who are very mature and there's older girls who are not, you know, but there's definitely some on here that seem very immature.
My parents got married at 20, you know, but it's also different now, I feel. Kids are a little bit more coddled these days. So.
Yes, true. Okay, have you guys heard about the revolution in online furniture shopping and the company Joybird? It's behind all of it. Joybird believes that you should never, ever settle when it comes to your home furnishings, and you should always have the freedom to be boldly original. Yes, I love being original. With Joybird, you can get one-of-a-kind furniture made to your unique taste. So you can turn your ideas into reality with hundreds of styles and options from like mid-century modern to contemporary classics. You can customize it any way with any fabric choice from rich buttery leather and plush velvets, like every single color imaginable, and it's quality handcrafted furniture. Each Joybird piece is made by hand with care, precision, using high-quality hardwood and responsibly sourced materials to fit your exact specifications. So, you guys, see how Joybird is revolutionizing online furniture shopping. Create the furniture that brings you joy today at joybird.com/babes. So go to joybird.com/babes and receive an exclusive offer of 25% off your first order by using code BABES. You're welcome.
Do we have time for one more question or not?
I mean, I get yes. If you could do a do-over on your limo exit, what would you choose to do? That's a great question.
Would you, Carly?
No, I would never do that ever again in my whole life. One, I wouldn't be wearing that dress.
Oh my God.
Two, I wouldn't be holding that karaoke machine. I mean, I would probably say some type of joke. Like I'd say something funny and like clever, but I don't think I would not do that. So what would you guys redo yours the exact same way?
I would not, just because I had a whole different idea planned that I wanted to do. And I just I let the producers kind of dictate everything that I did. Not everything. They were just like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And I just wish I would have stuck to what I originally wanted to do. But I wouldn't change like the outcome of how anything happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like what I originally wanted to do was just, because he had asked for my phone number at Jade's wedding. And so I brought Jade's wedding invitation. I was going to write my phone number down and hand it to him when I got out of the limo.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, because I didn't want to play like he'd not tell him who I am. But they're like, well, what if you just pretend like you don't tell him, like, see if he like recognizes you. And I didn't really want to do that, but I just trusted them too much.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
What's weird about that was if it was anybody but Nick just has like, I don't know, such a pride issue that like, I feel like he'd be like, you were trying to make me look stupid, therefore I don't like you. But if you had done something cute, he'd be like, oh, I kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that's also where I say, like, I don't wish I would change the outcome because I'm glad I went home when I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just didn't do what I was originally planned. So yeah, I would have changed it.
Yeah. Jade?
It's hard to say because I didn't do anything. So I remember them coming into my room and they were like, well, what are you going to do? You know? And I was like, I don't really know, because I hadn't seen the show forever. So I didn't know like the stunts and all the things girls do to be like remembered or whatever.
Right.
And, I'm not like super outgoing or funny, like until like,
yes, you are.
Until I get to know somebody, but like first impressions, I'm like pretty like quiet. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. And they didn't really like give me any ideas or anything. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go out there and just say my name and see what happens. And I had, oh my gosh, so on my nails before I went to the show for filming, I had one of my friends paint on one of my nails a picture of Pippa.
Oh my
my
gosh.
dog. And
that's so cute.
And so, when I went out of the limo, like it was like complete like blackout. Like you're so nervous and you're like, holy crap, this is happening. And I walked up to him and I think I just told him my name, or I just said hi. And I was so nervous. And he was like, what's your name? I know, he like prompt me. And I told him my name and then I just like panicked. And so I was like, well, I told him something. I was like, something about like my dog baby back home or something. And I was like, this is her. And I literally showed him my fingernail. This did not air.
I love it.
This did not air. And then he was like,
I was going to say, I don't remember this.
And he was like,
I don't either, but I love
and
it.
he was like, oh, okay. And like, what's nice and like,
Oh
whatever.
my gosh.
And I think it went fine and stuff, but I don't know if I would do it differently. I don't know, because I think there's nothing that I could have done differently that would have represented me.
Yeah.
So
the edit was nice,
I
though.
get that.
The edit of you.
Yeah,
you
it was just like
very like
it was a sweet
bashful.
and cute,
Yeah.
and that was it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a good
I just
question.
like panicked,
Very
and I'm like,
interesting
here's
to
my
think
dog
about.
on my fingernail.
Here's my dog
Here's
on my
finger.
nail. I mean, I love that because I feel like it could have gone like, oh God, that's the girl with the creepy dog on her nail, or like, oh my gosh, that was so sweet. Like she misses her dog, and like I love dogs. You know what I mean?
And it was painted on my wedding like ring finger too, which I didn't even think about until now. But it was actually on the
Like
so
I'm married to my dog.
Maybe I was just like, here's my wedding ring finger. You know?
Oh my gosh,
ring
yes.
finger. I don't know.
That's so cute. Do you have a picture of that picture of it on your finger?
Maybe somewhere. It was
I
really
wanna
cute.
see
It was just
that.
her face, but it was like a little cartoon, like
That's really cute.
Boston Terrier face on my nail.
I love
And
that.
it only lasted for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then the paint started chipping. It was really sad.
I'm actually sad that I don't remember Pippa on your finger. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I should remember that, but I don't.
I'll see if I can find a picture.
I'm sorry. I'm sad about it.
Okay.
Okay, well, so let's get to our guest.
Yes.
You guys, I'm so excited to talk to Taylor because this is a wild story
Mm-hmm.
for Wild Wednesday, but it's Madness Monday, actually.
Yes. Yes. All right, so it's the new year and everyone has new money goals. And one of my goals for this year was to invest more. And that is why I love the Robinhood app. It is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission free. Other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, but Robinhood doesn't charge commission. And it's so easy to use. It's easy to understand. They give you charts, market data. And I've never really done stocks before. Using the Robinhood app was my first experience, and it was so easy for me. It has a web platform that also lets you view stock collections and analyst ratings of buy, hold, and sell for every single stock. It was easy for me to learn it by doing it. So the best way to learn if you don't know how to invest is to build your portfolio and play around. You get to discover the new stocks, track favorite companies, and personalize news feeds. You also get custom notifications for price movements, so you never miss the right moment to invest. Right now, Robinhood is giving listeners of our Babes and Babies podcast a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. So sign up at babes.robinhood.com. That's babes.robinhood.com.
So today we have a very interesting birth story for you guys. We asked our Facebook podcast group if anybody wanted to share their birth story, and we've been looking for somebody who didn't know that they were actually pregnant their whole pregnancy and then had a holy cow, I'm having pains, what's happening? And the doctor's like, you are going into labor.
Oh my gosh.
You guys, I've always wanted to hear one of these stories. It's like my life dream to talk to someone about this because I never knew, I don't understand it, and I can't wait to understand it.
I know. Well, you must just think you're really sick the whole time or something. Like you may be dying. Like you, I don't know. But like, what do you think when you're going into labor and you don't know you're having a baby? Like,
yeah, you must just think
happening
like
to my body.
Yeah, you must just think like, you know, when people like pass kidney stones, it's supposed to be super painful, or like gallstones or whatever. Maybe it's like something like that. Like you're like, oh my gosh, am I passing something? I'm passing a baby out of my vagina. That's what's happening, you guys.
Right. So Taylor from our Facebook group reached out and said she actually had this happen to her. So she's going to come on the podcast. She's going to share her experience, and it's going to be quite the story, I think. I'm really excited. She said it's pretty long-winded, but we have all the time in the world right now. So let's bring her on.
I have all the questions.
Yes.
So many questions.
Oh my
Hi.
Hi, Taylor.
Yay, we're so excited you're on. Thank you for coming on.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm so excited to be talking to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to talk to you. Like we've always wanted to have someone come on that went through this, but we've never been able to find anyone. This is amazing. We're so excited.
Yeah. It's funny because I never met anyone that this happened to and or like knew anyone. I had heard of like the show on like TLC and things, but now that it's happened to me, every now and then I will like be telling someone the story and they're like, oh yeah, like my second cousin or so and so that I know, like this happened to. I'm like, okay, it makes me feel good that there's others out there. But I had no idea there were. Like,
how many children do you have?
so I have one, just the one. My son Douglas, who was born Valentine's Day 2016.
Aww.
The craziest weekend of my life.
Oh my gosh. Bella's birthday is the day after Valentine's Day. So that's fun.
I know. Oh my God. By the way, both of your girls are so beautiful.
Thank you.
Obviously follow you guys on Instagram and everything. And Liz, I follow you too.
Oh, thanks, Belle. Thanks for the love. Yeah, we're so curious about your story. So kind of when you tell it, how do you kind of start your story?
So I feel like I used to be telling it all the time. So I like have it down. My husband, last night when you messaged me, my husband was like, well, do you think you should practice? I'm like, I think I got this. Like,
that's so cute though.
It was cute.
I know. He was like so excited. He was like, well, like when you messaged me, I got so excited. He's like, wait, like this, like, calm down. I was like, no, this is amazing. I can't wait. And he was like, okay, let's practice. I'm like, I know this story well. Like, and then all day he's like, you're ready. You got this. Like, he's out in the living room with my son. I'm like, you got to keep him quiet. Try it.
Oh my gosh.
So I always start. So I was at work. It all happened on a Friday. I was at work and I have a history of ovarian cysts and like complications with that. And I have had cysts removed over time, like for years, just issues with that. So I was at work on a Friday and I was serving at a restaurant in Boston, downtown. And that morning I was just having like crazy cramps, like all day. I'm like, oh my gosh, this pain is so bad. I was assuming it was just like a cyst that had like, started to, I would have ovarian contortion in the past where like the cyst would twist and I would have to be rushed to the ER because it would be cutting off the blood supply to my ovaries. So that is extremely painful. And I had dealt with that so many times in the past. Yeah. So I was like, it might be the beginning of that. So I was really on alert, but at the same time, like trying to just stay calm. So I'm at work all day. Throughout the day, the pain's just getting worse and worse. And it's like a busy Friday night and all my coworkers are like, are you sure you're okay? Like, there's just cramps, it'll pass. And then the pain began to like, I would realize I wouldn't be able to like speak during the pain. It would like knock the wind out of me practically. Yeah. And I remember I had a table just sit down and I looked over at them and I was like thinking, if any of them like have any questions for me and I get this pain, like they're going to think I'm crazy because I just like, can't talk during it. So finally I was like, all right, I got to leave. I took an Uber over to Mass General, the hospital nearby. And I was there for hours before they even found out I was pregnant.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
They first did like an ultrasound on my stomach. They were like, okay, there's the cyst, 11 centimeters or 13 centimeters. And they did a urine and blood test quickly to rule out pregnancy. No signs. So they gave me an IV of morphine. Yeah. So I was there for hours. And they finally did an internal ultrasound. And like 10 minutes into the ultrasound, they finally heard a second heartbeat. Wow. I've been at the ERs for hours at this point. I was there for about 4 hours and they heard a second heartbeat. And they brought my now husband, but he was my boyfriend at the time. He was in the waiting room and they brought me into a room. And the doctor, Andrew, who I'll never forget, tells me, as he's like doing another ultrasound on my stomach this time, I'm laying on the table. I'm just like very relaxed. He's like, so turns out it's not a cyst. I'm like, okay, strange. Like, what is it? He was like, well, turns out you're pregnant. I was like, excuse me? Like, no, I don't think so. And he's like, no, it gets crazier. It turns out you're 37 weeks and in early labor.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I like literally like slapped his hand off of my stomach, jumped off the table, I had my hands on my head, and I was like, tell me you're kidding. You're kidding. Nope. I was like, I don't believe you. Like going crazy. I mean, obviously.
Sure.
And I was just, and like, yeah, I was like, what do you mean? Like, this is impossible. I've had my period. Like, and he's like, yeah, we don't really know. We have to get you up to the labor and delivery unit. And I was like, no, I'm not going there. I'm not pregnant. I'm not like, this isn't happening. And I'm like, how do I tell my boyfriend in the waiting room? And
Right.
Andrew was so cute.
Gosh.
He's like, do you want to tell him? Do you want me to tell him? I can tell him with you. I was like, I love you. Thank you for your support. I was like, I'll tell him. So my husband, I like blacked out at this point a little bit. My husband tells me that I brought him into the room, and I was like, okay. He's like holding my purse. I'm like, sit down, put my purse down. And he was like, okay, like what's going on? And I was like, the only way I could say it was, I'm really, really, really pregnant. And he was like, thank God. This was in our 5-year plan. So thank God. He's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, this is great.
Aw.
But I'm like, you don't understand. I'm 9 months and in early labor. And thank God this man knows me as well as he did, because his face didn't even flinch. He was just like, this is amazing. This is perfect. Like, oh my God. Well, he didn't say this is perfect, but he was like, this is amazing. Like, this is so exciting. And thank God, because had he even like blinked, I think I would have had a mental breakdown. Like, hands down, lost it. But he kept me so calm in that moment. So thank God for him.
He sounds like
Oh
a
my
keeper.
gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, big time. So spoiler alert, he ended up proposing to me at my post baby shower.
Oh
my
And then we
gosh.
eloped a few months later. Yeah. So now we're married, going to be 3 years in April, and he's amazing. Best dad.
That's so
He's
awesome.
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a minute real quick to talk about one of our sponsors, which is Instacart. I have been a longtime fan and a loyal user of Instacart. It's amazing what kind of apps are out there nowadays that just make your life so much easier. There's more time to exercise or play with your kids or take a nap or call a friend or walk your dog or anything like that, because now you can actually have your groceries ordered and delivered to you, which is, let me tell you, is so nice. I honestly probably use it twice a month, no lie. And now you guys can too. You can have your groceries delivered in as little as 1 hour, or you can pick a time that's most convenient for you to have your groceries delivered. And what's great is that they use local and national retailers, so you can choose your favorite grocery store. And right now, you guys can try Instacart to get free delivery on your first order. To get this limited time offer, go to instacart.com or download the mobile app and enter our promo code BABIES. Get free Instacart delivery today at instacart.com or download the mobile app, and don't forget to enter our code BABIES. That's instacart.com or through the mobile app with our code BABIES.
So you had zero time to process it. You know, like you find out you're pregnant and in labor, and no time to process what's actually happening, that you're going to be a mom in like soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So they brought me up to the labor and delivery unit. And it was so cute. The doctor, Andrew, was like, well, if it's a boy, Andrew's a great name. So that's how I'll always remember his name, because I thought that was the first time I could like laugh after I heard. I was like, okay, thank you for bringing some humor into this. So I went up there, and they did hours of ultrasounds and testing and trying to like move the baby around, if that's like the right way to say it. They couldn't tell if it was a boy or girl. Meanwhile, because I asked, and my husband's like, well, let's let it be a surprise. I'm like, I think we're good with surprises. Like, what? Like,
I'm good right now.
when he said that. So I found out I was pregnant at like midnight. At like 5 a.m., the doctors told me, they were like, okay, well, so you're in early labor. It could be, we're going to send you home. You could be back tomorrow. You could be back in 2 weeks, but just go home and try to get ready and then come back when your water breaks.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, well, what happens when my water breaks? And he's like, well, like on TV and in movies. I'm like, no, what happened to Phoebe on Friends? Like, I need more information. Like, and I was like a mess. So I ended up going home. So now it's Saturday morning at like 5 a.m. We took an Uber home and I just got in bed. I like couldn't even speak. My husband and I just got in bed and it was cute. He was like trying to just like relax me and calm me down. And he was like, all right, let's say a prayer that like, everything's going to go well. And we did that, which like, we don't really usually pray before bed, but I just like, will always remember that, like laying there together, saying a prayer, hoping we get through everything because we did. So I think it worked. And then
That's so sweet.
I fell asleep and I like couldn't really, at this point I hadn't told anyone. My husband is a chef in downtown Boston, so he had to go to work around noon. And we told his boss because I'm like, if I go into labor and you have to run off the line, like someone has to know why. So he's the only one we told at first. And my husband's like, you have to call your mom. You got to call her. You got to let her know. And I'm like, this isn't something you tell your mom like over the phone.
Right.
Like,
Oh
so
my gosh.
I texted her. Yeah. And in my mind, I was like, I have time. They said up to 2 weeks. Like, I'm good. In my mind, I was like, I have time. This is going to be fine. So I texted my mom and I was like, hey, can I come over tomorrow? And like hang out. So she was like, yeah, of course we can go shopping, like this and that. Like, I'm very close with my mom. So I couldn't just tell her over the phone. And so that was that. And then I was just like sleeping most of Saturday. Thinking back, I can't believe I didn't like go to the store and buy diapers. But I was just so shocked. Like I couldn't even think,
Yeah.
So at like 8 p.m. Saturday, I started getting the contractions again. Oh, by the way, Friday at work, those cramps were contractions the whole time.
Sure.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, but I had no idea. So my contractions started again Saturday night and my husband got home around 10 and I was like, my instinct was just every time a contraction came to walk I couldn't lay down. Like I would like jump up as much as I could and like just walk around. And it was crazy because finally I was actually showing, like because they had moved to like my stomach around during the ultrasounds. Like I went from not being visibly pregnant to all of a sudden having a baby bump. And it was like wild. It's like the one time I ever felt my son kick was that Saturday night too, which was insane and scary. And I was, yeah, I was like, cause I had never felt anything like, and everyone's like, oh, well, you probably did, but it was gas pains. I'm like, I know gas pains and I know, or you thought it was gas pains, but I was like, no, because when I felt that kick on Saturday, like I was like, oh my God, it's noticeable. But
he must have just been so far back then, right? Sorry. He must have just been sitting so far back. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's what the doctor said.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said like he was essentially like hiding in the back of like the placenta and everything. Like they were like, he was hiding from you. I was like, oh, great. Because I wasn't showing at all. I had literally zero signs. I have acid reflux anyway. Thinking back, like maybe it was a little worse, but that's nothing that I'm going to be like, am I pregnant? Like,
right.
So
That's amazing.
But yeah, so then I was like, my husband was like, you need to call your mom. He just kept stressing that. And I was just so in my own head. I was like, I have time. I'm good. And then like Sunday around 7 a.m., I was like, at this point, like in so much pain. My water still hadn't broken, but I was like yelling during the pain practically. And I'm like such a wimp. Like I get a paper cut and I cry. Like my husband, I don't even have my ears pierced because I hate pain. So like I'm like, I was really not doing well with these contractions. So then my husband's like, all right, we have to get back to the hospital. And I'm like, no, let's leave her at like 10 or 12. Like, I'm good. He's like, we need to go. And I wouldn't listen. So finally he called his aunt, who we live in like an in-law apartment in her house. And he called her to come see me. She took one look at me and was like, we need to get you back to the hospital. She said I was like white as a ghost and definitely like needed to get back. So my husband's uncle drove us to the hospital. It was like 7 a.m. Sunday morning. It was the coldest day of 2016. And
my gosh.
He got us there. We live like 20 minutes away. And he got us there in like 8 minutes. Like,
oh my gosh.
Got us there in no time at all. There was no one on the roads.
Yeah.
And he was so sweet. He's like, I'm trying to avoid every speed bump or like every bump in the road, everything like that.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
thank you. But, and then we pull up to the emergency room. I'll never forget too. The man was like, do you need a wheelchair? I was like, yes. And he gets one that had been sitting outside. I'm like, okay, really?
No.
Like,
oh my gosh.
freezing. It's just those like little things that you remember, right?
Yeah.
So they were like wheeling me through the entrance of the hospital, and it was like so quiet. I'm like trying to not like yell, like because I was in so much pain. And I got checked in, and luckily for me, the maternity ward was like empty. I got in no problem. They asked me if I wanted to do an epidural, and I was like, yes, please God. And the anesthesiologist was there in the matter of like 5 minutes. So it was like, I really lucked out with how like smooth everything went, as like, because they were telling me a few days before they were so busy that they were like, we don't know what we would have done. So,
Wow.
So at this point, my husband's like, we still need to talk to your parents. And I was like, okay, you call her and just tell her to meet us here. And my mom is like, and my husband's like, are you serious right now? Like, you want me to call your mom? Like, hey, just come meet us at Mass General. I'm like, yeah, if you don't mind. Like, so he calls her and she was like, well, what do you mean? Starts freaking out. So I just grabbed the phone and I'm like, hi, Mom. I'm in labor. I'm 9 months pregnant. I need you to come down to the hospital.
Oh my God.
And she's just like, okay. Yeah, just hangs up the phone. And I was like, okay, that's that. Got that done. Like,
wow.
Oh my gosh. When you got to the hospital, how far along were you? Like how much dilated were you? Did they say?
I think I was 4, is it centimeters?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like still not great at the whole thing because so last second. I believe so. Because I believe it was 4 because I was able to get my epidural. And then once I had that, it slowed down a lot. And because I didn't deliver until like 10:30 p.m. So, which was, helpful a little bit, I guess. So when my mom showed up, she was, obviously shocked. She and my stepdad showed up. They were shocked and convinced that I had been like hiding my pregnancy, which why would I do that? I was 27 years old, living with my boyfriend. Like, I'm not 16 and like soon. So they're like calling everyone, like, did you know? Did she tell you? Did she tell you? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? So that's how the word got out to my family, which was convenient and easy. I didn't have to tell everyone.
All right, guys, I'm going to take a second to talk to you about another company that I love. It's Warby Parker. I am obsessed with my glasses currently, and people ask me all the time where I got them, and I got them at Warby Parker. My favorite thing about them, though, is that you get to order 5 pairs of glasses. They have this free at-home try-on program. They send them to you. They send you a return shipping label, and you get them for 5 days. So you get to try them on, figure out which ones you want, and then you get to send the ones back that you don't, but there's also no obligation to buy them. And if you guys want to check that out, go to warbyparker.com/babies to order your free home try-ons today. Their glasses start at $95, and that includes prescription lenses, the anti-glare, anti-scratch, and you guys know that I love companies that give back. That's also why I love Warby Parker, because for every pair of glasses that you buy, a pair is given to somebody in need. So definitely check out the Warby Parker site. And then they also have this really cool app. If you go to the app and you have an iPhone X, they take an in-depth photo of your face, and there's 12 different lenses that you can try on with there. And you can get a really good idea of what's going to look good on your face, what you like. And it's super easy. It's very seamless. And they want to make picking out glasses for you a fun, easy process. So that's why I love them. The thing with my try-on kit, though, is that I got 5 frames and I loved 3 of them. So I only had to send 2 back. But if you guys want to check out their free at-home try-on program, and if you want to also give back to those in need by buying your glasses through Warby Parker, go to warbyparker.com/babies.
So we were there for hours. At one point, it was kind of crazy because the nurses and doctors, took a blood test again. And with my parents, assuming like I had known, they were like, well, if she knew, like, why would she hide it? So they did a blood test, and they told me, like, they came in the room, and they were like, we need to speak to you because you tested positive for opiates. And, if you have a problem with drugs, like, and this is why you didn't tell us. And I'm like, what is an opiate? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, it's because they gave you the morphine, huh?
Right. But they didn't look at my chart. So they didn't see that. So I Googled opiates, and the first thing that comes up is morphine. And I'm like, you guys gave me morphine. Like,
oh,
and they were like, oh,
gosh.
okay. So, but because they had done that, because before they spoke to me, they called like some like social services thing.
Oh my gosh.
Like, well, we have
my gosh.
Do a drug and alcohol test on your child when they're born. I'm like, which I immediately consented to because I don't do drugs, and I luckily don't drink. Also, I should mention, I don't drink or smoke or anything. So thank God, because if it was anyone else in my family, I come from a big Irish family, like family drinks, except for me. So sorry, I said call. But yeah, so they did that test. He was obviously completely clear, and they were like, sorry, it's just a precaution. And I was like, I understand that, totally fine by me, but you could have just looked at the chart. Like, would have saved a lot of scare.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But yeah, so my aunt and cousin ended up coming to the hospital, who I'm very close with, and they were in the delivery room with me. And my husband obviously was in the room. And around 9 o'clock, they were like, okay, well, you're not there just yet, but almost. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I want to have a Valentine's Day baby. Like, I was very excited to have him hopefully then. And they were like, well, it could take up to 3 hours. So we don't know. So at 9:45, I started pushing. I was pushing for not too long, but then they told me, they were like, well, if you don't get him out soon, I guess there were complications, and they may have to like, what's the word? Like, suction his head to get out or something. Or do an emergency C-section. And so my husband and my aunt and cousins say, they were like, right after that, I got him out in 4 pushes. They were like, you turned into like the Hulk. And like, your face was purple. And I was like, so determined, like, to get him out safely. I was like, if I could do one thing right. Like, so he was born at 10:25 p.m. And I wanted my husband to tell me if it was a boy or girl, so I wouldn't let anyone else say it. And my husband, it was so cute. I was like, what is it? What is it? And he was like, it's a it's a boy. The most excited I have ever heard him. And he started jumping around dancing. And it was the best moment of my life. And he was born, that 13-centimeter cyst turned out to be the top of his head.
Yeah.
They found out when they were doing the measurements. They were like,
wow.
They were like, head is 13 centimeters. I was like, that was the cyst. And he was born perfectly healthy and perfect. And yeah, it's been amazing. He's great. He's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That is so crazy.
How did you even know like how
Yeah.
to push? Like did you ask like a million questions when you were in there?
Yeah. So
Like, I can't even imagine. I'd be like, what do I do?
Yeah. I was like, wait, I didn't take any classes. Like, what do I do? And luckily, the nurses at Mass General were amazing. They were so helpful and like calming. I had two nurses, one Renee, who was with me during delivery, and earlier in the day, I had a nurse named Liz, and the two of them, like, both came to visit me afterwards when I went to like my room for the next few days. Like, I just to this day like hold them so close to my heart because they were so calming. Like everyone around me, like my family was a little hectic and crazy, and they just kept like being by my side and saying like, you're gonna be fine. Like, because while my mom was freaking out, I was like, I at one point was like, I just need to be calm because I have to like, I'm about to push out a child. Like, and I don't know how to do that. Like during the epidural, and I'm like afraid to get a flu shot every year. And during the epidural, I was so scared. And the nurse, Liz, literally got on the floor on her knees and hugged my legs and was like, just look at me in the eye and blow air out like you're blowing out birthday candles. And that's exactly what I did. And I was fine. Like, these two women really were so amazing and got me through it. Like, yeah. So they were giving me tips the whole day of how to push and this and that. And I was able to do it. Thank God.
That's so amazing.
That's amazing.
They were like your little angels, I feel like. Like, I feel
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
What did your coworkers think when you told them what had happened?
Yeah, so so at first they were bad because they had been texting me like, are you okay? And I had been answering up until I found out I was pregnant. Then I just stopped answering. And then when I decided to like tell the world like via Facebook post, because I'm like, I can't text and call everyone. So my husband and I both just posted it and with a short little, blurb, and they all were amazing. All of my friends showed up, like so many showed up over the few days afterwards with like bags and bags of clothes.
Oh, wow.
My three best friends showed up holding bags like literally bigger than they were with diapers, wipes, pacifiers, like a little seat for like taking the bath, like everything. My three best friends, they were amazing. They were so funny too. They said they were like, we ran to Target. We were running around asking everyone to help us. And
oh my gosh.
I side note, I had a breast reduction when I was 18. So I didn't know if I'd be able to breastfeed. So my friend Melissa told me that my friend Lindsay was running through the store like, she had a breast reduction. She doesn't know if she can breastfeed. What do we get for formula?
Oh my gosh.
Which I still think is just imagining the three of them like grabbing everything off the shelves and like telling Target employees about my breast reduction just like cracks me up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So by the time we got home, we had everything we could ever need and more.
Wow.
Thanks to family and friends. Like one of my aunts, Trisha, she's like, all right, everyone, use my Amazon account and Prime everything to this address. Like, so we got home and I don't think we bought diapers until he was about 3 months old because
that's amazing.
People just flooded our home with, it was unbelievable. And it makes me want to, like find people that this happens to. So we can help other people too, because not everyone would be as lucky as me to have friends and family like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I read in the paper online about a woman that this happened to near me. And I contacted the news source and asked for like contact information for her. And I emailed her a bunch of times. She never got back to me, unfortunately, because I would have loved to, you know, set something up to get her clothes and diapers and wipes, you know, kind of pay it forward with all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were in the hospital, did they say that this has like happened? Were they like, oh my gosh, this has happened to us before? Like anything? Were they like, whoa, this is new?
So none of my doctors or nurses had seen this before.
Wow.
The official name for it is a cryptic pregnancy.
Oh.
And they had never seen it personally. They say it happens to about like 450 women a year.
Wow.
There's two forms of cryptic pregnancies also. There's a cryptic pregnancy where you don't find out until you're in labor, which is me. And there's another where you don't find out until you're maybe about like 6 months in, I believe.
Mm.
And that one's more common. So it's women that
Gotcha.
are very far along and don't find out. Yeah. So I, of course, had to be the in labor one.
450 women, that's pretty rare. Like, that's not a lot of women. Think about how many babies are born a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, I need to start playing the lottery.
Right?
Totally.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh.
Well,
So crazy.
you are amazing. I think it's so cool that you now have like a heart for other women that have gone through what you went through. I wonder if there is something out there that, like, I don't know, that like you said, if there's something that's set up that could help even bring diapers or necessities or anything like that, blankets.
Yeah. I mean, even just like leaving the hospital, like if it wasn't for my family and friends, I would have had no clothes for him. I would have had no anything. And
like a
car
to even
seat,
just be able to provide, even just be able to provide those things for women that are in this situation. Like I would love to be able to find something. I've like searched online. There isn't really anything I've found so far, but maybe through this podcast we can reach out, and people, if they, you know, have a sister or cousin or friend that goes into labor tomorrow, we can help them.
Totally.
What would be, I guess, if somebody wants to like contact you, if they have something similar to this or they know of a program, what would be the best way to get in touch with you?
I guess my email or Facebook.
If they join the Babes and Babies group, if they search your name at the top, they can find like your stream and find who you are. What is the correct pronunciation of your last name? Is it Cadden or Cadden?
Cadden.
Cadden. Okay, Taylor Cadden.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yes, and my son's name is Douglas Cadden Martinez. I still haven't taken my husband's last name.
We haven't either.
Me either.
Because I was actually supposed to go to Carly Bass. You got to do it.
I mean, maybe one day.
I was supposed to go to. I had all these trips planned, actually, which is funny. Before my son was born, like, so I had him February 14th, March 14th. I was supposed to go to Bermuda with my cousins. I had a bachelorette party in Nashville for my friend Lindsay, which I ended up being able to go to. My mom and husband insisted, which was amazing. And then I was supposed to go to Spain for 2 weeks with my dad's side of the family. And my family actually insisted I still go and bring my son. So we got him a passport, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so great. It was so fun.
Yeah, but it'd be hard to like change your name if all these trips are booked with your current last name. You know?
And I had just renewed my passport, so that wasn't really an option.
So give it 10 years.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm also like, it's going to be so expensive to change everything. So eventually,
it's just as stressful. I don't like thinking about it.
Me either.
Like, that's too much work.
Right?
I'm fine the way I am.
Also, can we talk about how cute baby passports are? Their little photos.
They're so cute.
Oh my gosh.
They're so cute.
I've never seen one, so.
Oh my gosh.
They're so, oh my gosh. It means it's so cute. Ugh.
Okay,
Bellis
let
is
me,
actually
I'm going to
in
grab I have the picture.
Yes.
Yeah, I have the picture of my sons. I had to like hold him up. Hold on, let me get it. I had to hold him up like against this like white picture or like white background. And he's like 3 months old, and the guy's like,
Yeah.
Oh my
okay,
gosh,
stand
it's so
still.
cute.
I'm like, yeah, he'll be still.
I think
Oh my gosh.
they put a white sheet in Emerson's car seat, and we just like laid her in the car seat.
Oh my god.
That's his passport photo.
He's
I
so
love
cute.
I made sure he was wearing red, white, and blue because I'm so corny and had to.
Oh
Like,
my,
That's
I
so
love
cute.
it. I am a true American.
He almost looks like he's
Yeah,
smiling.
I know. He was like from day one, the most like, he was just, his eyes would follow everyone. He was always very engaging.
Cute.
Yeah, so I swear it looks like he's smiling. And
Yeah.
everyone was like, oh yeah, they'll probably put down like a white sheet that you can lay him on, or yeah, like in the car seat. No, at my post office, this man made me like hold him to the side. I'm like, this is kind of difficult. Like, what?
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's so amazing. And it sounds like you just have like such a supportive and like loving family, which I'm sure helps so much in this situation. So that's so awesome that you have that, you know? Yeah.
I
Well, thank you
know. I'm
so much for
so
coming
lucky
on,
with that.
Taylor.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you
Yes, oh my
guys. It was
God.
such
Your
a
story is
pleasure.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was so great talking to you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
you too. We can't wait to share your
Ditto.
story.
I know. Can't wait. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Taylor.
What a crazy story.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
It was so good though. Like I found myself smiling the whole time she was talking because I mean, what a surprise and just a really cool. It's just a really cool story. But I don't. Also, this because I had Emerson at 36 weeks and I was not prepared. I understand the panic of not being prepared, but to totally know you're not pregnant at all, and then being like, you're in labor. Like that's just crazy, but it's just really cool how everything really just worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still like, my mind is still exploding, you guys.
I know.
Like, I just can't imagine like walking in to have the baby and you're like, you have 9 months to prepare. Just the idea of it, that you can't really ever prepare for labor, but
True.
the idea of it, you can prepare for in your head a bit. And just being like, oh, okay, now I just have to have this baby today that I didn't know was in there, and I don't know how to even, like, what even happens?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh my gosh, my brain's exploding. It's so wild.
Well, and I feel like it makes so much more sense. I'm sure it happens to women who do deal with ovarian cysts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe things don't seem out of the ordinary, because I know people who develop cysts all the time that pop. So they'll get, they get big and then they explode, and that's just crazy.
Yeah, I guess if you take into factor like people who have like PCOS and don't have normal periods, or she said she said she was having periods. Maybe hers are always like really light or something, and so she was just having spotting, so she thought she was normal. We didn't ask her that, and then like women who have endometriosis, like they have chronic pain too. So it's the things that kind of give you insight on why maybe like that happens sometimes for women. And then for her child to be, her baby was so far back, kind of hiding.
Yeah.
She said she wasn't showing at all. So that's crazy until they moved him.
It's wow.
Yeah. It's a cool story. It
is
so
really cool.
Yeah.
And that's just awesome that she did have the love and support that she needed to get through that. Because I couldn't imagine that happening and you finding out like that and then not having any support system,
Yeah. I mean, she is the real MVP, but also her husband.
Yes.
Like he was her telling the story. I'm like, oh my God, he is like the cutest.
The cutest.
I was like, he is so sweet. I mean,
So sweet.
yeah.
Adorbs. What a crazy story. I loved every second of it.
Well, I'm glad we got her on, because I know we've been talking for a while about how we wanted to find somebody that this has happened to. So I'm really glad that she was able to come on today and share her story with us.
100%.
Now I just want to go watch that TLC show she was talking about.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Oh.
I might do that today. Be a little crazy.
Wild. What is it today? Wednesday? Wild Wednesday.
Yes, be wild this Wednesday.
I guess it's Monday when this airs, but
Oh yeah, be mad on Monday. Okay.
All right. Well,
anyway, thanks for listening,
yeah.
guys.
Let us know if you want more birth stories because they are fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And if you have like a crazy one too, and you're not a member of our Facebook group, join and tell us your birth story, and you may also be on the Babes and Babies podcast.
What?
All right. See you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.